Maggie, why don't you tell our listeners, for those that are not familiar with Shelter from the Storm, what is the purpose of Shelter from the Storm?
Well, the shelter is the Valley's only provider of emergency shelter-based services for victims of domestic violence and abuse. And the shelter serves, on any given day, 60 to 70 women and children. The budget for the shelter is $1 million a year just to run the shelter, not to do the other services that Shelter from the Storm offers. And 25% of that budget has been cut. The new California budget cut 100% of all of the state's funding for shelters throughout the state.
Yes, and sadly, there are so many worthwhile groups and organizations that have that same problem, but we all want to do what we can to keep these wonderful things going. Now, I saw on the statistics on your website, which I'm going to ask you to give in just a minute, that you actually serve something like 3,000 women and children that are victims of domestic abuse through 10 locations throughout the valley. Is that a good figure, do you think?
It is, and that includes the hotline, that includes offices that are available to women throughout the valley to go and visit. It includes counseling centers, and so we have done an outreach to go from the east to the west end of the valley.
Now, does Shelter in the Storm actually provide some kind of safe housing for some of the victims of this terrible tragedy?
There is a shelter, and that is the shelter that I was referring to when I mentioned that at any given day there are 60 to 70 women and children at that shelter.
Do you know an average time that this family or a woman and child might stay in that facility?
They can be there up to a maximum of 60 days. This is emergency housing.
Mm-hmm.
There is transitional housing, and that's, again, another part of the program that Shelter from the Storm offers after that initial 60 days.
Well, that's really good to hear. And I'd like you to give a helpline telephone number for any people that are out there that might need assistance or would like to make a donation. Give that telephone number, and then also give the website, please, of Shelter from the Storm.
The office phone number is 674-0400, and the website is www.shelterfromthestorm.com.
Wonderful. Repeat that, please.
674-0400, and the website is www.shelterfromthestorm.com.
Now, Shelter from the Storm certainly has their own executive board, and all of that information is on the website. But you are president of a startup auxiliary that's just been formed, and your mandate is to help raise funds, is it not, for Shelter from the Storm?
We will be doing fundraising along with education, I think, as a part of the process now as well. Lynn Moriarty, who is the director of Shelter from the Storm, was a good friend, and one day at lunch, I asked her, what could I do to help, expecting her to tell me that she needed a donation of a refrigerator or a microwave. Instead, she turned to me and said, I need an auxiliary. And so Lynn and I both reached out to some talented businesswomen here in the Valley, and their response in joining the auxiliary has been overwhelming. Not just that they would join in, but that they would work as hard as they are working.
That's fantastic for such a good cause, too. And I'd also like to tell my listeners that you are the senior vice president of C.B. Richard Ellis firm. Is that correct, in Indian Wells?
Yes, it's a commercial real estate firm, so we do commercial leasing and sales of properties.
And that certainly can be a big help if they have a need to find other locations. Now, what are some of the things that you have? Is there anything that you have planned immediately? And what kind of cost are you trying? Are you trying to keep it in a situation where more people can afford to attend these events?
That's exactly right. We have two projects underway right now. The first is that we wanted to do an educational video, and so that is being produced as we speak by Point 7 West, and that will allow us to set up a speakers bureau to go out to organizations and help them understand the important work that the shelter does. And we think that education is step one of asking for fundraising. And then the other is that we do have the 9th annual Hats Off Luncheon. This is a luncheon that has been held in the past in order to, again, raise awareness about shelter from the storm. That's scheduled for Thursday, October 29th, and will be held at the Miramonte Resort in Indian Wells.
Do you know the price of those tickets?
Those tickets will be $75 per person. We are working on a number of activities, including wine tasting and other ideas, where we expect the ticket price will be closer to $25 to $35 per person. We have a number of younger women on our auxiliary board, and they're encouraging us to watch the price point and to make sure that we can include some of the younger people here in the Valley.
Well, that's a great concept. And now the $75 ticket, that I assume that does provide lunch. It's a luncheon situation.
It is. It is a luncheon. There will be silent auction items, raffle items, and it will be the debut of the video about Shelter from the Storm.
Is this a local production company that is doing this video?
Yes, Point 7 West is based in La Quinta, and they've been very generous in working with the nonprofit organizations here in the Valley.
Well, that's wonderful. Are you going to take this video to schools?
We do want to take it to schools. We want to take it to women's golf clubs. Domestic abuse is a woman's issue. Women were the ones responsible for kind of bringing it out of the closet, and it does so strongly affect women and children that it's a cause that most women can get passionate about. So we want to go to women's organizations and ask for their help during these trying times.
I think what's important for our listeners to know also that if they are in trouble, if any woman is in trouble or a child is in trouble, that they can call the telephone number that you mentioned. Mention the number again, please, which is
674-0400.
And it will be with complete confidence that they can speak to you.
It absolutely will. There's trained professionals that have walked many, many women and children through this process that can be of help.
Well, that's wonderful. And I want to thank you for being here, Maggie. It's absolutely incredible that you have taken on this responsibility, and it's certainly a worthwhile activity. And I know I'd like to attend some of those events, so I look forward to them. Thank you so much.
Thank you.